right. I will do a quick...
Out of the what? What happened?
Yeah, that's
Where did you
right.
go?
I feel terrible when I roll for you guys and you're not here and then it's crap. So that's a perfect place to start. Yeah, so the party just left for the Feywild and appeared here. That's how 3 of them remember it. But the recap for everyone else, of course, is they just returned from the Feywild thanks to Mallos and his, I think it was a Stone of Recall. And Ormia's teacher found safe and sound. Felix died 2 sessions ago and was resurrected, thankfully, this past session. In large part thanks to the folks that subbed, so thanks again for that. That made it so much easier. It brought his DC way down, and the roll was a 6, so if you hadn't done that, the chances of him surviving would be much lower. Upon returning from the Feywild, though, there's always a chance that you may lose all memory of what happened in the Fey. It's like the hardcore version of Las Vegas. It just stays there because you don't remember it. There's also a time differential, which I had fun rolling. I got to use my percentile dice, and I had different ranges for like some extremes and very low percentages, and then a little more normalized as it went up. So it was kind of interesting to roll that and see how much time had passed.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, it was cool. So everyone has just arrived. Ormia and Mallos recognize this as part of Blackrock Landing, which is a large, magical-powered, arcane-forward, let's say, city, a port city, in the very northern section of the continent of Ephron. The kingdom it's in is called Kaiten Kai. And I won't have anyone do any history checks just yet, but if anyone is interested, then I can give a little background on what they may or may not know. I think most of the party has no idea, likely because many of them are from Calais or Calborum. Anyway, they returned. Who is it? Emil, Kaelin,
And Ormia.
and Ormia. Ooh, I have no recollection of what happened. The last thing they recall is Scarlet Shuffletrot, the councilwoman from his Zambor, assisting them into the Fae. And then that's it. Now they're here. They showed up in a huge domed glass or some sort of magical transparent force dome over this really large and beautifully landscaped arboretum. Trees of all different varieties spread in rows out in a number of different directions. Again, Mallos and Ormia recognize this as the Sanguine Gardens, which are a central spot in the city of Blackrock Landing. There are 3. This is where the circle of teleportation is. Teleportation circle. And there are 3 different tracks that head off to 3 massive spires in the city. And I'll see if I can pull up some images here just to give a better idea. These 3 giant spires in the city are really major areas for commerce, dignitaries, the sort of residential areas that are really fancy, really nice and wealthy. The city sprawls out below that, though. Below the dome. Well, the dome is raised here, the Arboretum. And it's just a jam-packed, crammed city in the dark of dusk, and with some heavy rainfall currently. Alright, let's see. I know I put them in here. What did I name them, though? That's the question. Here in Blackrock. So here's the... I'm just going to share this out again for viewers. Okay. This is Blackrock Landing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on, Fantasy Grounds. It's thinking about that. I already opened the window, but it's just like...
Yeah, of course.
I'm just going to think. I need a minute.
It's tired.
Fantasy Grounds will let me in.
Oh, oh yeah, it's weird. Oh, there you go. Hopefully. All right, and there was also...
Internet.
Oh yeah, maybe that's what it's doing. All right.
Also, his music is bad.
And here is an image of some of the spires that can be spotted.
Oh.
Here. You bugger, you grabbed from the wrong thing. Okay. Let me just fix that so it's pulling from the right Fantasy Grounds here. Okay. There we go. Ooh, pretty. So, I wish Ormia was here. She'll be joining us a little bit later. Yeah, you guys have arrived. You look around. So some of you, while you don't know where you are, you at least recognize the rest of the party. However, Ormia, Emil, and Kaylin, right? Look around. You don't know what's happened to both Astrid and Rhinwen. And you see this light blue skinned tiefling with a flower crown over her temple, standing with you, as well as this, haughty-tawdy high elf, boy band sort of high elf that's, yes, looking there with the gestures and all, just, straight down his nose at everyone as you are inside the stonework of this teleportation circle. And I'll let you guys take it away.
I think high elf boy bands are now part of my headcanon for this world.
And Ed's ready, Dan. Ed's ready.
Oh, okay, sweet. Oh, perfect. All right, let me snag him, and then we can get right to it.
Let's see. Oh no! Never mind. I just read lesser restoration. Oh.
Uh-oh. Yay! I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but I mean, it's working right off the bat, so I'm just going to say it just to disprove the jinx. Except maybe, can you say something just to make sure I can hear you?
There was some noise in my signal chain earlier, but is there now?
You sound fine.
Excellent.
Warren, you're too funny.
Warren.
You got to pay attention to Warren. He's always doing something hilarious, but if you blink, sometimes you'll miss it.
He's always thinks he's doing something hilarious. Whether it's actually hilarious.
Yeah.
I appreciate your humor.
Dan's like, Warren's so funny.
Everybody else is like...
Nice. All right, let me add to your camera here, Ed. So basically, Ed, I was just recapping. You've all arrived, and of course, you recognize everybody. You're not sure where you are, but you recognize everyone in the party. But Ormia, Emil, and Kaylin are sort of looking around. Where's Astrid? Where's Rhinwen? Who's this tiefling druid and this pretty boy high elf? Who are they? So I'll let you guys take it away. Again, it's that dark, sort of stormy, raining night. And you see these spires and a lot of beautiful trees and landscape around you.
So we're outdoors?
It feels outdoors, except for the dome that covers the top of this area.
It's almost like we're in a greenhouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kaylin, look in your bag.
Look in my bag.
Yeah, look in your bag.
I have a... Kaylin kind of looks around, and she's kind of confused, but she kind of doesn't say anything at first, because she sees new people, but she's just kind of like, I don't, and so she opens up her bag and just kind of, looks in it and kind of sees a weird kind of glow, because I'm guessing it's still glowing, Dan, right? Or no? Or has it stopped glowing? It was glowing.
There is a faint glow to it
It
still.
died
Yep.
down. Okay. All right. So she sees something, and she's like, "Well, it's really heavy." And for a moment, she wonders if maybe someone put her skull back in her bag, and so she kind of puts something aside and is like, "Oh my!" And she kind of looks up at Emersina, kind of like,
Emil's also gonna check his bag, and he's just gonna go white. Like, he is just like.
What is going on?
What was the last thing you remember?
We were meeting someone about going to the Fae.
Okay. Well, just to give you an update, we went to the Fae, and I had a brain fart. Oh my god. We went to the Fae. You got a Warforged heart. This tiefling over here, we met her in a cave, and this guy over here,
That guy?
he's kind of an asshole. So I would avoid him.
Okay.
But oh my god, Rhinewin and I'm having brain farts.
Astrid?
Like
Renwa and
Astrid?
Astrid, where are they?
they had to leave. They left.
They left?
Yeah, they had their own personal journeys that they needed to go on, so they left. We all said goodbye. So
They did mention that we could forget things. Did you forget anything?
no, that's why I'm kind of updating you. Still, it's you, Emil, and Ormia that forgot.
And who's that with Ormia?
Ormia is probably like, wait, what? I mean, I haven't forgotten. It just didn't happen. Of course, means I wish she was here. So she turns and sees, her teacher, and she just stops talking, disengages with everyone, and tears up, and just holds him for a minute. And he's sort of surprised by this. He wasn't aware of this factor of the Feywild, and so they just I'll kind of give them their own off-screen moment where they kind of catch up while you guys are doing whatever.
Kaylin kind of digs a book out of her bag, her notebook, and just tries to start flipping through it to see. I don't think she took that many notes. She did take notes on the stuff that she found in the cave, I remember, but she's just trying to search for something of some kind of proof that this happened, because she doesn't remember anything, and
It's
she's
almost
having,
like a blackout.
she's having a hard time wrapping her brain around it. So she kind of, she says thank you to, she's like, thank you, and just kind of, now excuse me, and she just kind of pulls out her book and just starts furiously flipping through it, and yeah, so.
Yeah, sure, whatever you need. But I'm not going to mention the whole Felix situation. I'm just gonna keep
Carefully
that
leave
to
that
myself.
out. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything about that.
You're saving some heartache.
Emersina, can Emil have a word with you?
Sure.
Can we? So he motions you over. He wants to go hide kind of behind a tree.
Of course.
So you find a bigger tree.
Yeah.
And he's going to show you the compass in his backpack and say, "Why do I have this? Did I use this?"
Oh.
No. You decided to keep it from Ormia. And if I remember correctly, I think she tried to use it, but it wasn't on a live person. I think there were spiders in the cave, if I remember, and I think she tried to use it on one of their bodies, but you told her, you know, like, I'm keeping this, like, I want this back.
So Emil reaches up on his shoulder where Seb is and just kind of strokes Seb a couple of times, and he just has this hugely relieved look on his face. He closes up the backpack tight, seals it up. Actually, wait a minute. You know what? Okay, no, wait, okay. I'm gonna recast my alarm spell. My alarm spell probably would have gone off when I opened my pack, and it would have caught me off guard because I forgot I cast it.
Right.
But I'll recast the alarm with a mental note so that I'm aware if anybody goes in after the compass, and I'll just kind of give Emerson a little bit of a hug, just of relief, and then kind of pull away embarrassed, and we can go back.
And I'm like,
yeah, sorry, and I just kind of stiffly walk back to the group, but I'm
it's okay.
looking very relieved.
The two of you sort of awkwardly walk back after the exchange. Yeah. And Caitlin, did you say that you did spot the glowing Warforged heart already?
I kind of glanced at it, but she told me it was a Warforged heart.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. Okay, so you're flipping through notes, and you do find some of those notes that you took regarding the engineering bits that you found, the tinkering bits that you found inside. I can't think of Orin's Keep. For dealing with it so much, I can't believe I couldn't think of the name. Orin's Keep. And you see some of the assorted parts now in your pack. Oh gosh, yeah, you did the rest of that before you went to the Fae. I'm trying to think of all the things that might have been missed or picked up in the Fae.
Don't forget about Ormia has the 5k gold.
Oh right, yeah, that's in her pack somewhere.
Yeah,
she's just sort
Where
of.
did this come from?
Yeah, she has sort of her hands clasped around Yaris, her teachers now, sort of being updated by Yaris and all that happened, and just asking him a lot of the same questions she's already asked him once, just all quietly too. They've stepped off to the side a bit. Felix.
Caleb.
Oh, good.
Oh, Caleb looks at Emersina. She looks up from her book, like she still was, and she's like, wait. They also said that time could move differently in the Fae. Do we know what time this is?
As far as time of day goes, as I scramble for my notes, the time of day, it's, we're gonna make that. It looks to be maybe, it's tough to tell because it's raining, and it's so cloudy and raining, but it does have the feel of early night, late evening.
So we don't know how much time has passed, right?
Nope.
So we just have to ask somebody what the date is.
Yeah.
Just casually.
Okay.
So casual.
While this is all going on, Brixie just kind of wanders off into the town by herself.
As you leave this area, you see more trees. It's a pretty large arboretum. You do find what appears to be you haven't seen anything like it before, but essentially it's almost like a metro station or train station. There are these hard metal rails that go off. You see, again, a tube almost, a dome-shaped corridor that the tracks run down, heading towards one of the spires. Clear material, glass or whatever it is, just like the rest of the dome. And you see as you look out and start following the perimeter of this glass, you see there are two other corridors that head to the other two towers in the city. It seems to be that's it. You have to use one of these to head to one of those spires.
Is there like a corridors on the left and right?
It's just one big arched ceiling corridor that could fit something pretty large, like at least two horse-drawn carriages wide.
Ooh. I walk through it.
You hop down onto the tracks?
Yes.
Okay. Well, okay, let me get my...
I'm gonna suggest to everyone that I think we need to find inn or someplace to just kind of gather ourselves a little bit.
Yeah.
I take it Felix is still looking a little weak.
He looks, severely weak still. He's walking at like half the pace, half the speed he normally does. Looks very weathered and tired.
Well, I happen to have a place here. I'm going to move that direction. You're welcome to follow me if you'd like.
Kaylin kind of looks at the others. Like, are we trusting him to follow him? Kaylin does notice Felix's, maybe how tired he looks.
Oh,
Kind
you
of beat up.
definitely. Yeah.
And so she kind of walks up close to him and is like, are you feeling okay, Felix?
Doing a little rough. It was quite a trip that we had in the Feywild.
Okay.
Mallos, how far is your place that you talk about?
I point at the giant fire over yonder that Dan described for everybody.
Felix, do you think you might make it?
Yeah, I'll be okay.
Okay.
Or Mia would probably say something like, well, I'm not the biggest fan, but they're probably decent accommodations, and I think Felix could definitely use the rest. I know I could. And I'm at least for checking it out.
I would have started walking.
Nice.
As Kaylin's following everyone, she kind of looks in her bag again. And she's like, I have a warforged heart.
I give a
I
little
have
smile
a
as I-
warforged heart.
Awesome. You hear the clunking of armor, someone skipping an armor.
We need to go back to the Feywild and come back so that she can forget and find out again.
Perfect.
Time travel. Time
Awesome.
traveling. Maybe official time travel did that.
Nice. So
Well, Mom and
Brixie...
I found a Warforged heart.
So awesome. Brixie, so you hop down on the tracks. Are you walking down, or are you just sort of investigating like what the tracks look like and stuff?
Just investigating what the tracks look like.
Okay. They look almost as wide as your typical horse-drawn carriage would be. But they're these heavy steel or some form of metal riveted into the ground. Essentially, I mean, it's essentially looks like almost like train tracks. It's a bit of a different form to them. Instead of just two rails, they sort of wrap around as though a small wheel could fit inside and run along the tracks with a little give and pull on each side.
I can't remember if somebody was helping Felix or not,
Oh yeah, is anyone helping?
or if he's walking upright himself. But I'm gonna stand behind him, like, keep an eye on him and stuff. So
Okay. I think Emil had jumped in back in the Feywild to give him a hand to his room. But yeah, Felix is walking, but he's walking at half speed because of his second point of exhaustion. So he's definitely, could use a hand if anyone wanted to.
I'll go ahead and give him an arm and be like, hey, Come here.
Okay, neat.
Thanks, Emersina.
You're welcome.
Brixie, you're down on the tracks. Now, these tracks are probably about 5 feet down from the initial ledge that you stepped into. And as you're investigating the tracks, you start feeling a vibration in them. And then you hear a sound. It sounds like a huge roll of thunder. Make a quick dex saving throw.
Oh gosh, this can go great or this can go poorly. Oh, no! Oh,
Oh, Brixie, no.
no!
Well, Brixie was such a lovely character. And, no. No.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Wow.
I had
Oh, one.
experience-
Oh, that's brutal.
In my other game, I had to experience a brutal character death,
Oh,
so I
no.
don't want to do that.
Ugh.
So,
All right, let me see what's going to happen with the train with a couple of rolls.
oh no.
Okay. So there's a bit of a bend, a curve to this train track, and as you feel this, you hear it's approaching much faster than anything that you've experienced before. Certainly faster than a horse-drawn cart. You look up and look down and around this long stretching corridor, and around the turn comes this massive wooden and metal structure chugging along, and you hear some squealing as it's coming around the corner, as though
How far behind her are we?
you guys are a little bit behind. You're not quite there. I'd say you're getting close. You can probably see into the end of the corridor. You can't really see her yet.
Okay.
You probably
Probably not.
are like 60, 80 feet away when you see her stand up, like to react. And you see this, again, huge, it's unlike anything you've ever seen. It has giant arcane crystals fastened to this huge metal cylindrical type body. Fairly sleek, except for the very front that seems to have, much like the steam engines had the plow in the front for animals and such. Same thing. You hear, so Brixie, you stand up and see this coming around the corner. You hear a screeching sound, light screeching that turns into a full-on screeching as this massive whistle, like on a boat, as far as you would have experienced a boat whistle, honking, blowing as it rounds the corner, and you back up. There's about 15 feet until there's a barrier set up, and then another 20 feet behind that until there's a bunch of bumpers, and then the end of the line. Oh my gosh, with one. Go ahead and roll. Let's see how this goes. Go ahead and roll just a straight D20, if you would.
Okay. What does this mean? Where were you, 18, when I need you the most?
Okay. You scramble backwards. The rest of you walking up see, her horns come up and just at like the top of her head over the platform. And you're like, why is that dropped down? What do you see? And then you see this huge device coming, screeching to a halt. You shuffle back a number of steps and find yourself leaning back over the barrier that stands about 4.5 feet tall behind you as the train comes to a stop, maybe 1.5 feet away from your face and your person. It seems to have a pretty good brake system, thankfully, for how fast it was traveling. And you seem to be, aside from the shock of this massive device rushing at you, you seem to physically be okay. if not a little frozen in place for a moment. The rest of you, all you saw was her like backing up and then this train coming by and stopping. And you're all like 50, 60 feet away now.
Quick question, Dan.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really aware. Would Kaylin have seen a train before?
Let's see. Roll a history check if you would, because of your
Okay.
sage background.
Oh, it's true.
I think if anyone has heard anything about this is a very magically advanced city. But with a sage background, you may...
Very loud.
Oh,
So
nope.
Emil and Kaylin don't really know. Like, she obviously was with us when we arrived, but we don't really know who she is. And she just kind of wandered off. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't even know who she is. Yeah. Yeah, Novaloop. No kidding. Yeah, they've got some great inertial dampeners on the on the train to prevent people flying out of their seats. I hope. Let's see. So, Kaylin, I would say that you are familiar with. You've seen designs of this. You've never seen one illustrated or in person, but you've seen schematics and designs proposed before. You're partially aware, in the same way you're sort of aware of Zambora being a magically advanced city. You're also aware of Blackrock Landing and most of the Kingdom of Kaitenkai to be very arcane-centric and advanced in their magic technology for day-to-day use.
Okay. All right. So she's going to see the train. She's going to see the wisp of a train in the distance. Almost run over Brixby, who she doesn't, whatever. But she sees it and she's like, I think that was a train. And so she runs.
Nice.
A what?
Of course it was a train. Is your
A
friend-
mule train?
Yes.
That loud metal thing? What?
It's a train, guys!
What's a train?
Like that.
She's gone. She's gone.
Ah, Halen! Trying to drag Felix along. I'm sorry. She,
It's okay. Go on without me.
In their metal crap.
Felix, yeah. Oh, wait, what? Brixie, you're sort of snapped out of your shock as you hear the clunk, 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 clunk of the heavy metal armor that Kaylin's wearing as she runs onto the platform. And Caitlin, you see her down at the end, sort of like leaning way back over this barrier with a train.
Are you okay?
I think so. And I live, like, am I actually on the tracks? Like, an actual subway kind of thing? Like, am I
Yeah,
actually
you're on the tracks.
Height to where the platform is?
The platform is maybe like this high next to you. If you were to stand next to the platform, you're down about 5 feet from the platform that Kaylin's standing on.
Okay. Can I put myself up?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, I do that.
Okay. You take a minute, get a foot on the train and a foot on the platform, and pull yourself up next to Kaylin.
I would just turn around with my arms crossed to observe the situation. Like, really? Really? And then I turn around and start walking back in the direction I'm going. Wait, the train? We need to take the train to get to, Renwa?
Sorry, what?
Do I need to take the train to get to Renwa, or can I walk there?
Yes, this is the train to Renwa Hall. There's a number of benches here and such, but the train is stopped and the doors are opening.
Okay, I nonchalantly get on the train then.
Okay.
Kaylin,
Y'all see Mallos just walk off and walk through this door that swings slides into this side of the engine, just slides out like a Star Trek door, and just walks inside. You see a number of very cushy, comfortable seats inside. More arcane lamps, crystal lamps. You don't see anyone on it yet, though.
Kaylin has already got her sketchbook out of her notepad out of her bag and is making notes about the outside of the train right this second, as everyone else is getting on or looking at it or making their way over to it.
I'm gonna
Nice.
kind of poke my head through and be like, so you ride it like a horse?
Horse? Why would you ride it like a horse? It moves itself. Just sit.
Yeah, that's good. Horses don't move themselves. That's clear. Thanks.
Emil says from like behind everyone, like
Where are you? What is that
he
horse?
has no idea. Yeah.
No,
Emil's
Kaylin
very
tries-
stealthy. Yeah.
Kaylin steps up to kind of Emersina and is kind of like, no, it's powered by it's powered by magic, arcane magic. So, and some mechanics as well. But you get in and you sit down, and it takes you, or so I've heard, from one place to another.
Like a carriage?
Like a wagon? Yeah.
It's faster than a carriage, I think. But I've never been on one myself. I've only studied it in books, and it's amazing in person.
Huh. Okay. And I kind of
Commoners.
walk in and sit down. I'm just like,
Extremely
like-
comfortable seats. They're bench seats with fine oak tables in the center.
I'm
There's
just like
this-
feeling everything. I'm like,
Yeah, very soft, very smooth. Everything's really clean in here, not your typical metro. There's this wonderfully
Bums
fresh
in the corner.
scent of aromatic cedar that just fills the entire cabin. You see at the end there's a small doorway where there seem to be separate cars, almost separate compartments to this train, where you might be able to step out and then step into the next one. Kaylin, you immediately realize, okay, well that's so when it's taking turns, there's flex and there's give, and you're sort of taking notes of all that. Again, it doesn't appear to be manned. That you don't see anyone in the engineer's block, the engine itself. But yeah, I mean, you're all there. Ormia just sort of steps in and sits down. Yaris too, they sort of know the drill already. Mallos has already done the same.
Felix finally gets in and just kind of like exhaustedly lies down on the seat.
Nice.
Trixie just has to sit by Felix and just looks around in awe. It's still a little bit shooken up that she almost got hit by it.
Oh, I bet, yeah. Neat. Ormia and Mallos, you guys, check that out. That's so cool.
Oh.
You guys know that there are also spirits usually. There's a certain back area that is a bunch of cabinets basically, and one is chilled, has ice below it, and there's some different spirits in there that you could... alcohol spirits, not...
That kind of spirit.
Yeah. It's spirit powered. Yeah, so you guys, if everyone's loaded on then?
Yeah.
Is it
Kalen's
self-serve? People bring the spirits to you.
No, yeah. When in the times that you've been here, Mallos, as a much younger age, you remember it being better manned. There were more people here serving. It does still appear to be in pristine condition. They take really good care of it. Ormia doesn't seem to be phased one way or the other. She's just sitting and waiting.
I hold my hand out as if expecting to be handed a drink. And will be very disappointed when I'm not.
I lean forward and give him a high five.
Yes.
Seb flies over, thinks about landing, but then comes back and decides not to land on the end.
Awesome. Flutters back. That's great. Okay, the door shuts closed again, and
It's okay.
We triggered the trap!
yeah.
Okay. This is how they operate, I think. She
Okay.
goes back to writing.
Nice. If Felix sits up for a minute, oh, okay, can relax again after. The train has one really. It starts off really slow, and then has some weird abrupt stop and then start again, like all metros do, even when you think you're prepared for it. And then very rapidly picks up speed. This is much faster than any of you would have ever traveled on an animal or anything like that. Even the flying carpet you were on was not this fast. You just feel your stomach sort of being left a couple feet behind you as this starts rolling down this clear track. Now this part, you go around the bend, and the corridor that you're in, the glass becomes some sort of heavy metal, opaque. You can't see through it. You just see every so often the braces that hold different sections together. Only for about 20-25 seconds before it opens up, and you see it's a fairly narrow corridor still that just encompasses the train with a few feet of leeway on any side, but it's glass now, and you see heavy rain pouring from this cloudy sky above you, landing on the glass of the outer corridor and running down the sides. You see the city alive with dancing arcane lights on some of the shorter towers. They have lighthouses that are arcane. You see some boats, a number of sailboats out in the port that you're sort of skating. You're not skating around the edge, but you're approaching the pier area. And it looks like it's going to be a little bit of time before you arrive at the tower, because it's a pretty big city. But you have a little time to relax on the train as you just... It's the ride, you get accustomed to it after a minute or so, and you can relax, and it's just this nice fast speed. You still see those metal braces in the glass every so often. But it's a pretty beautiful sight, especially as you near the port. You can see there's, the waves are a little angry, so you see the sailboats rocking on them. And you guys have a minute to chat or anything if you want to. If not, I'll just fast forward.
Kaylin's still just furiously writing.
Neat. You
I'm
take
gonna
special.
take out one of my books.
Ooh, yeah, you're okay. Cool. The one on the Tildari book. Ooh, okay, cool. So you kind of put your head in that. Felix, you're resting. Mallos.
And the single-decker train, or is it the double-decker?
This one's just a single. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The ride.
On the trip there, Brooks is just looking left, right, left again, just all over, just amazed.
That's fantastic. Yeah,
I think-
it's okay.
I think Emil is just gonna keep his eye on Kaylin as long as she's calm. Emil's gonna be calm, but he doesn't look super comfortable.
Okay. Neat.
But actually peering out the window in an odd moment of introspection.
Ooh, neat. Or is he looking at his reflection? Yeah.
There you go.
Only Mallos knows for sure.
Nose.
That's awesome. Yes, you continue on the journey. And just as you're sort of getting accustomed to this ride, for anyone looking ahead, you see that this portion of the corridor seems to start dipping down, and the earth gives way to the tunnel as it continues underneath the ground. And everything goes really dark for a minute before some more of those arcane lights kick on to brighten up the interior of the train. And they have a little flicker, every time you pass one of those braces and the train tracks, it's a little bit of a flicker. You're in this tunnel for maybe a good 3 or 4 minutes. While it's still dark, you see a little more light coming through than the tunnel, but you're not above ground. And as you sort of look through the glass and try and focus through it, you see what almost appears to be some form of plant life swaying as though it's underwater. Then you see some aquatic life. Fish swim by, and you realize that you're under part of the bay as this tram continues through underwater. If you look up, you can see the hull of a couple of the sailboats far up above you. And again, the metal braces continue to come out as you traverse each section.
Kaylin! Oh,
I've heard that I've read that some trains can go underwater. This is amazing.
At this point, Rixie just put her hands against the window, just looking out.
Neat. There's a number of essentially skylight windows. They don't open obviously, but there's glass panes on the top of the train. They're about 8 feet long by maybe 4 feet wide. They're domed to match the top of the train and the cars. And then there's some solid structure to keep the train in one piece. And then another window. And there's about 4 windows down the length of this car of the train. So you can even look straight up at, should you want. It's pretty interesting the way the light is refracting off of the surface of the water way above, and seeing the bottom, the entire hull of a ship from this vantage point is really something new, something very exotic to. I think Mallos, you may remember some of this from a very long time ago. Or Mia, I don't know if she's would have ever ridden this, but maybe. You can
kind of almost hyperventilating, just like breathing a little bit quicker. Remembering the last time that we were all under the ocean, and it starts like undoing his armor just in case.
That's awesome. I forgot.
I put my hands over
I
his
think
eyes.
I still have my second beast shape. I turn into a cat. I turn into my cat form.
Neat.
And then walk towards Felix and comforting him.
Oh, neat.
Kaylin just kind of watches, like, because she hasn't, of course, seen this before, and she's like, huh.
Seb flies up to a high perch and eyes the cat warily.
Yeah, upon seeing Brixie changes. There's a number of high cabinets and stuff that Seb's able to chill out in. Okay. So you guys continue through under this for a fair bit before it finally curves back into the dark of the tunnel under the earth. And then once again, finally, you feel the ascension from underground as the train starts to head upward. And light, what light there is in this rainstorm, can be seen again as you emerge from the ground, now very close to that particular tower. I'll just probably just share that out again to that particular. Oh my goodness, so many maps. Here we go. To this particular tower, finally nearing it. And the last 5 to 8 minutes of this train ride bring you right underneath, right into the base of this tower. The heavy patter of raindrops ceases as you go underneath and into the building. The very basement, the bowels of this structure. And the train, you feel it come to, again, a fairly abrupt stop, except you don't feel most of the sway from it slowing down as quickly as it does. You don't feel as much of the G-force there. You do still have, it feels really smooth again until the very end, when you think it's finally stopped, and then, it just does this one extra jerk again, like every Metro does, and comes to a complete stop. And the doors aren't opening yet, though. You've stopped. It's as you look through the windows, you can see a similar platform to where it was before. This one has very much brighter lighting than the prior one did. Tiled walls in a design. It's sort of like an ivory tile, small 4x4 inch tiles that line the walls with a couple banners of black tiles that run across the top, creating sort of a header for it. Tiled pillars that seem to support this area as well. And it's only a matter of seconds before you see a number of armed guards approach. Not weapons. Their weapons aren't drawn or anything like that. It seems to be Mallos. You're accustomed to this. This is usually they have these people in the arboretum, and long before you get to this point, or for whatever reason, you're running into them here. The door finally slides open, and about two of them enter this particular cart. You see down the way, two are entering the next cart, another two entering the cart after that.
Mallos, what's going on?
They come in and look around and see all of you. Welcome to Blackrock Landing. Oh yeah, let's see. Sorry, I saw you roll, Emil. Okay. All right, 15. All right, I'll make a note of that.
Bye-bye.
They look around, they see sort of, Felix laid back. Well, I guess you wouldn't be covering his eyes still, but, there's a cat sort of snuggled up. You're in the booth right next to Felix there. Seb is up in one of the high cabinets. They recognize Mallos and Ormia as nobility. So they adjust their demeanor a little bit. Yes, well, is this your first trip to Blackrock Landing, or are you returning?
I am returning.
Wonderful. Do you have your documentation available?
Do I?
And you're sort of familiar with this. They like to see who everyone is, it's like their security check, and you've got like your scroll of pedigree with you that's lists like everybody.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, I'll take out my scroll.
Just
Motion toward them.
yes. Well, he takes that. Oh, yes. Thank you, sir. This is fine. And abruptly does that. Oh, thanks. I'm like, yeah, he takes the paper. What are they doing? Did it fix it?
For the people who are new, when Dan is out of focus, we do this.
Except that you guys can't see it because it's only on our.
Oh yeah,
on
I've got
our side.
two webcams. Their camera loves to go out of focus for some reason. My camera for them loves to go out of focus. I don't know why. And Ormia does the same. Thank you, milady. They very abruptly look at that, and they. Well, let's see. Actually, I want to see if they. Yep. So they walk down, and they rolled high enough where they get down to the booth that you're in, Emil, and they sort of look down. You're fairly stealthy, sort of ducked under the cushion. Like, and you, sir? Just politely speaking to you, letting you know he sees you, Emil, but not being ornery or anything. Yes, do you have any form of identification?
I don't think that I would, so I think I'm going to be honest and say no.
I see. He looks back at the other guard. I think Ormia would speak up. They're all with me. They are my assistant and my guard, and they're all with me. I've vetted them thoroughly. And I'm gonna make her. It's so weird when I sort of roleplay with characters against myself, but I'm gonna have her do a persuasion
Hey,
check.
Dan.
Yeah.
Dan, if Matt can do it, so can you.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Awesome.
Little motivation.
Let's do persuasion. No, that's the wrong button. Yep. No, I know where persuasion is. Thanks. Okay. Okay, that's not bad. Let's just see what he rolls. Alright, he rolled a 20 and she rolled a 16. I'm sorry, milady, but we do need to just thoroughly vet everyone ourselves before we let them into the grand city of Blackrock Landing. Meanwhile, the other guard is going around. Let's see, Brixie's a cat. So he'll come up to Kaylin next. May I see some identification, ma'am? This is the other guard.
I'm with her, and she points to Ormia.
Do any of you have identification?
Kaylin kind of, trying to nonchalantly kind of hug her bag a little bit closer to her chest, to her side.
Don't touch my stuff, yeah.
Puts an arm over it, smiles.
Felix points to his rank insignia.
Oh, I see. They seem to respond to that almost as much as the nobles, to be honest, being soldiers themselves. I see. Well, you know what, Felix, if you don't mind, even though you're not intentionally doing this per se, if you don't mind just doing a persuasion check with that, I just want to see what kind of sway that has over this person, because...
Persuasion. Oh, plus 0.
What do we,
It'll-
persuasion check? Persuasion...
They rolled a 1 this time. It was a 20 last time, it's a 1 this time.
Oh.
Well, I think all is in order. Between like the glare of Mallos, like I don't have time for this. I need to get to my place. You're holding us up, and Ormia insisting, and Felix, flashing his rank insignia. I said, well, very well. I do hope you enjoy your time here. Welcome once again to Blackrock Landing and Renwa Hall. Please see your way up. You'll find the stairs just outside the door here, 20 paces ahead, and that will bring you up to the lobby.
Yes, fine. Out of the way. Let's go.
And he sort of steps out of the way. Like,
I'll help Felix up, and I want to give him my staff too to help him out. I didn't think about it on the way to the train. I'm sorry, Felix.
No, it's okay. I've got my lighting stick.
Okay.
Neat. One of the guards actually steps up too and offers, do you need a shoulder, sir?
No, I can manage, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Is there any way I can, in my cat form, can perch on Felix's shoulder so I don't have to walk on the ground? Because last time I got almost kicked.
Nice. Are you amenable to that, Felix?
Sure.
Okay. You climb up, and I don't think it'd be too difficult. I guess just make a dexterity check, Brixie, if you don't mind, just because he's so wobbly right now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're a cat. Okay. I'll let you do it with advantage. You can hit the advantage button, the bottom left first.
Yeah. So just a dex check, or?
Yeah, straight up dex check, but with advantage, because you're a cat. Okay.
I'll take that.
You without needing to use too much of your claws, thankfully for Felix, you're able to hang on top, around the back of his neck, sort of, hanging on as he walks out. Seb flies down to your shoulder, Emil, sort of, tucked close. And you all make your way off of the arcane train and head over to the stairwell that leads up. Lucky Felix stairs Uh, and you see the place really opens up as you go upstairs. It has a little platform where you turn around 180 around the corner and head up. And as you enter the ground floor here, the lobby section of Renwa Hall. Oh, thanks for the follow. No, it's gorgeous. It has this almond-colored marble with these beautiful black streaks through it. Very ornate pillars that go up 25, 30 feet to this big cathedral ceiling in this level. This very plush carpet-type material that you can walk along with rows of stone, on like an onyx stone tiled floor around the main bench, the main intake counter basically for Renwa Hall. And you see a number of people bustling about, servers and such, but there are people just waiting to help you and other people behind the counter if you wanted to approach that. That's what you would typically do, Mallos, as far as your experience in the past.
Did I go to the counter?
Okay. You sort of strut over to the counter. There's a bell there in case you wanted to be like, ring-a-ding!
Yeah, I am ringing the bell.
Oh god, you're giving him too much power with the bell.
Bing, 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 bing. There's someone like 25 feet away, but you ring it incessantly until they get there.
And as my cat, as I hear this, I just hop off of Felix's shoulder and just start playing with the bell.
Nice. The person has approached now and starts talking to Mallos, but the bell's still bing, 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 bing. With Brixie the cat playing with it. I love it. Where are we? A rather tall gentleman comes over, high elf as well, male, about 6 feet tall, coal black hair, up in this really well put together man bun, basically, with a couple of the chopstick type instruments put through it to hold it in place. Crystal blue eyes, rather gaunt face, and he has these long black robes with a silver paisley pattern all over them, and this really rich cobalt blue accents and underclothes that poke out, here and there. They overlap with the cloaks. It's really striking, especially with his eyes and the outfit matching. He comes over. Welcome. He kind of glances down every so often at the cat playing with the bell. And how may I help you, esteemed sir?
That's the person behind the desk talking to me?
Yes, talking to Mallos.
Do I recognize this person?
No.
An employee.
Mm-hmm. Seems to be.
Sure. I forgot my scroll. I need my usual accommodations, please.
Certainly. And may I have your name, sir?
The name is Mallos. I'm gonna write it on the scroll.
Yes. I believe, and bing, 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 bell's still being batted by Brixie. He pulls out this really large logbook and flips it open, and he's flipping backwards, page after page after page. Yes. Welcome, sir. Well, of course I should introduce myself. My name is Raybrick Crudell, and gives you a very deep bow. And I see here that it looks like your accommodations were paid for by... it looks like... I don't have your mother's name, but he basically says your mother's name. In fact, she rented out the entire 201st floor for a year. Well, I see. Well, you still have about a half a year on this, so I can see you up to your quarters. Will you all be staying with us?
Yes. Those-
Give him a look.
There are an ample number of rooms available on the 201st floor, which is a pretty nice floor. Basically, from what you recall, the higher the floor, the more luxurious it is, standard fare. There are 250 floors from what you recall, plus a penthouse. And so the 201st floor, renting that out, that's pretty legit for, your mom. So you do have sort of that momentary sense of pride, like they're going to know how, fancy and rich I am. I can show you all. I'd be more than happy to show you all to your floor and your rooms. Set you up with any service. What's that?
And handing him my things.
Yes, and he calls a couple, essentially bellhops over. You see, let's see, 201st floor. So you see, three different servers run over that seem to be that he introduces to you as you set those down. These will be your servers for that floor. Jeffrey, and he points to a human, average height, a completely buzzed haircut, sort of an acorn-like brown eyes, really neatly trimmed beard, but just along his jawline. One of those things, yeah. He's a really skinny guy. And he keeps his head lowered. He doesn't really, he quickly glances up, but then just does a bow and sort of goes about his work without really looking up. And Sarah, another human, she's a little bit tall for most humans you've encountered. She's like 5'11", so not super tall, but a little bit. Really long blonde hair, partially up in a bun. The rest is sort of draped over her shoulders. She seems really fit. She's picking up a bunch of bags and stacking them up and has no problem with them.
Kaylin's clutching her. She's not letting anyone take her.
Nice.
Her bag. There's no way.
She actually turns to you, Kaylin, and looks you right in the eye. May I take that, ma'am? Would you like me to carry that?
I can handle it. Thank you.
Okay, if you're certain. She gives you so much eye contact, like way more than is necessary. Oh, well, certainly then. Okay. And
Kaylin just turns around away from her.
She kind of, goes down everyone, staring you all in the eye way longer than socially acceptable. Yes, I'm Sarah. Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you.
You did that too well.
Pleasure to meet you.
I don't know why, but I'm just getting like the stare is just making me think of The Shining. The two
Nice.
girls
Nice to meet you.
Girls in the hallway up there. We don't know yet.
Oh gosh.
Dun dun dun. Red rum. Yeah. So the two of them start carting the bags away, and then he introduces the final person who finally comes running around from behind the counter, and Crystal. You can feel a little disappointment, little not resentment, but he clearly not the star worker. She's a tiefling. She stands about 5'2", gray skin, fiery red hair that's trimmed at the shoulders, boatloads of freckles, horns that almost look like slick back hair. They come way back and then loop out at the back. She just sort of has like an average build, but she's a little clearly not. She doesn't have the same pep in her step that the other two workers do. She's like, I'm coming, and she kind of comes around with a bit of attitude towards this guy. Oh, thanks.
I kind of forgot. No, I kind of forgot to mention this, but I hop back on Felix's shoulders after seeing them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bing, 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 bing. You done?
Yeah. And then noticing everybody, she hops back on Felix's shoulder.
Okay, neat. Felix, you standing and sort of greeting the other people, you feel the gentle cat paws climb back up in your shoulder. Not quite used to it yet, but you let her perch there, and she settles in and hangs tight. Name's Crystal. Pleasure to meet you all. Whose bags am I taking?
If you don't mind, could you take my armor? Much appreciative.
Sure. She kind of sees how you're supporting yourself. You sure you don't want me to just carry you?
I'll make it.
All right. She grabs the bag, whatever anyone offers up, and just sort of loads them one after another on her back, and starts heading off to. Gosh, you guys haven't experienced this other thing, so you're not sure. She just walks over towards the far wall before Raybrick comes around and says, "Yes, well, should you need anything at all, and I'm not available, please ask any of them. They will be in the halls on your floor, and there are servants' quarters on the floor, tucked out of the way. You will not see them unless you need them. And any..." Yes, we aim to offer the best experience and getaway that money has to offer. So, if you need me at any point, call for me. Use one of them. There are... he basically describes something similar to the bell system that you saw in Renan's estate, where every so often, in each room and every so often in the hallway, there's a little bell. But this, you haven't seen it yet, but he describes basically a little rope that you can kind of pull, and it dings a bell down here. And he says, I will be here to assist. I'm on the premises 24/7. Let's go. And he opens up the counter, flips up a section, walks through, closes it, almost like a bar, and starts heading over where the rest of the folks went.
Kaylin speaks up and she's like, "Are we walking up 200 steps?"
Oh, no. Something quite... And he's almost amused with your with the notion of it, that he's just like, oh, no. No expense has been spared here, and you'll see soon enough. A very, very easy to use device. Of course, you're a fighter, so he doesn't really go into anything arcane because he wouldn't expect that.
Right, he doesn't know.
And sort of, he's not looking down his nose at you, but feels like he just completely misjudged you. It's like, please, this way. I'd be happy to show you. He's not being a jerk about it. He's just, not being the best
amused.
guy either.
He's amused.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I got it.
So you walk some, 150 feet over to this another section of the lobby, and you see before you a double set of doors that are closed, and basically one of those accordion gates. And he takes one side and draws. Oh no, you have seen this because you used it at.
The Dragon's Place.
Thank you. Yes, the Dragon's Place there. The Wizards College. No, it was the other one. Tensor University campus, right? Well, whatever. Anyway, maybe it was in Zambora. I can't remember. Same, very similar thing. So, contrary to what he thought, you guys are actually already aware of this system. He swings open, opens up the accordion gate, pops open the doors, and you step into it. It's a small compartment, basically an elevator. And you all step in, and he closes the gate, shuts the doors, and says 201st floor. Sort of like, you're going to love this, not knowing, most of you have experienced this already. And then just immediately opens the doors, and it's an entirely different floor. You see, in an instant, it's moved you through space, and he slides open the accordion gate and says, "Please, if you will," and let's all,
Is this the TARDIS?
It has that kind of feel. We are here at the 201st floor. You have run of the entire floor for another 5 months and 23 days. And use it as you see fit. Of course, we prefer there be no damages, although we have your mother's account on file. Please, any service you need, she paid for the works, so call, ask, whatever you need. I am here for you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Yes. No, these people might need some help understanding what it means to be rich, and tell them the services you provide. I walk away.
Is there any curtains at all?
So far you're in like the inner hall of this entire level of the spire, and there's so many rooms in this floor. It's ridiculous that the whole floor has been rented out. If you were to go into a room, then you would probably find some windows with curtains and stuff, though.
Well, in the hall, can I make an investigation check to see if I can find any curtains in the hall?
Sure.
See that I'm still a cat and...
Curtains.
Investigation. 12.
You take a minute or two because it does take a while if you were to make the whole loop. But you go down the hallway for about a minute or two in your cat form before finding a break. There's a hallway every so often that runs down to another level of rooms. And at the end of one of these hallways, you do find a number of windows that actually has curtains on it. It faces the rising sun, so they have some curtains on there for the morning. Most of them don't, but you do find, and they're long ones. They go right down to the floor.
Perfect. I sit clawing at them.
It feels so good on your paws and claws. You need the curtains. The rest of you
is Sarah the one that was so eager to help here with us?
Crystal, Sarah's the one that was staring you all in the eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, Crystal seemed okay, but Sarah seems eager to help. So, Kaylin's going to try and take advantage of that and kind of, slide up to Sarah and be like,
"Yes,
I have a couple of questions for you."
Whatever you need.
Kaylin, with the stare, kind of second guesses what she, is like. Oh God. Do you have a library here?
We do. Yes.
What is it on a different floor?
It is. Yes.
Okay. What floor would that be?
You can find it on the 3rd floor.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. One other question.
Yes.
And this is going to sound strange.
Oh, no,
but
nonsense.
Oh, good. I'm glad. You seem like a really good person, and so
kind of you.
What? Could you tell me? Just we've been traveling for a while, and we're just a little tired and a little confused as to what date this is.
Oh, quite the travels. Hi. Well, certainly. It's the 9th of Sulime, which is March. It's a Tuesday, March.
Great. Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. We just been very, very tired.
Certainly.
I definitely appreciate your help. I'll let you know if we need anything else.
I'll add, just in case you don't have a frame of reference from where it was before. You were in, I think, October before.
So, okay.
And now it's March. I don't know if you want to ask what year it is, but that would be enough of a thing where you'd be put off, like...
Yeah, Kaylin writes that down, and she's like, Sarah, right?
Yes.
You told me the date, but you kind of left off, and I know this sounds strange, but, I'm not really used to certain customs, and she tries to Kaylin's trying to, lead up to it.
She keeps leaning in, like...
The year.
Oh! Well, of course, It's the year 1312 in the era of Credosia, which is the following year. So it's basically been about 6 months.
Thank you very much. I definitely appreciate that.
Of course, anything you need, let me know.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Kevin kind of quickly kind of turns like eager to be away from her, just her gaze. Okay, all right. Kaylin's going to kind of slip up to Immer. Kaylin's going to slip up to Immersina, and just be like, Immersina,
Yeah?
just so you're aware, I'm pretty sure by what the servant said, wonderful Sarah over there, that it's been 6 months since we went into the Fae. So 6 months has passed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Thank you for letting me know.
Kaylin goes back to studying her notes or whatever.
Where might we find our rooms? And also, like Mallos said, with an eye roll, what kind of services do you provide?
From behind you, you hear a gruffer voice, the gruffer voice of Crystal. What was your first question? I heard about the services, but what was the first one? Where's the...
Where our rooms are?
Ah, okay. You hear Crystal say, well, you can take any of these rooms. The whole floor is yours.
Oh.
You turn around
okay.
and you see her, sort of looking up at you. Yeah.
Crystal's the one that offered to carry Felix, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Sure.
What kind of services do you guys provide?
Well, we've got everything from your basic wake-up call and turn-down service, food service, to some of the fancier things. Everything's included for you on this floor, Raybrick said. So, spa treatments, massages, all the luxury stuff is available too. But your meals are taken care of, your relaxation's taken care of. There's a concierge that can tell you, helpful tidbits about the city if you're going sightseeing or you have business in the city. Though most of the business is done here in Renwa Tower, one of the other towers. Really, it's the whole kit and caboodle, I'd say.
I don't recognize that phrase, but thank you.
Ah, It could be a regional here, maybe.
Probably. I just kind of say bye and walk towards one of the doors and...
She goes back to carrying... Actually, I think she's... they all sort of have the luggage ready to bring it to the people when you guys choose rooms. And this is a massive floor. There's probably upwards of 30-some different rooms, all pretty large, on this floor that you can choose from. You can be as close or really as far as you want from one another.
Can I make another? I'm still out in the hall. Can I make another perception investigation to see if I find any more curtains in the hall?
I won't make you roll again. I mean, as you go down, there's maybe 3 or 4 of the hallways on the side that faces the sunrise that all have curtains. You don't find anywhere in any of the other hallways, but there's at least another 3 sets of curtains that you could tackle if you wanted.
Okay, so at those 3 steps, I'm gonna scratch on them, and then after I'm gonna walk back towards the group.
Okay.
Felix will just pick a random room, whatever's convenient.
Well, pick it back. I'll find Felix and just... I find Felix.
Everybody wants Felix today.
Yes.
I'm just gonna go into a room and just shut the door.
Do the rooms have closets or wardrobes or something like that?
Yep, they all have nice armoires. They have walk-in closets. They all have a large tub, empty tubs, but the servants can bring in hot water for you for baths.
Do they have any windows?
They all have windows. Yeah, it's a really gorgeous view. Of course, they're covered in rain. The rain pouring down. You see again over the city that's dotted with all these yellow lights from all the different windows and all the houses that just cover the landscape of the city here. And then you've got the larger arcane flames and on the towers.
Do the windows open?
They do slightly. They're vertical windows, and they pop out, about 10 degrees or so to get some air upward.
Just wondering if Seb can get out.
Oh,
Go
yeah,
for a
there'd be
fly.
enough room. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
I think Emil's going to scout out all of the available rooms, and he's going to try and find one where he can. He's going to grab a blanket and sleep in a closet, but facing the door, kind of like he's bunkering down, like he's so uncomfortable that he wants to be able to not be snuck upon.
Okay.
Old habits.
Yeah. Well, you do. You find one moderately close. It's about 3-4 doors down from Emersina's room that has... not only does it have a bit of a different layout than the other rooms that could really let you nestle into that closet and have plenty of vantage points, but it has furniture that you can move around and sort of, set up as other things to be behind and to see from.
Okay.
You land on that one. Okay, in Mallos you find the best, fanciest room with all of the accoutrement.
I would want to be as far away from the door as possible, make it as inconvenient as possible for the servants.
Okay. That's awesome.
And at this point, I scratch at the curtains in Felix's room, and then I go back to the door once I'm done with that, and then scratch at the door for Felix to let me out, and then I just run back into my cell, and then I find my own room. And then once I find my own room, I don't think I had described Brixie to people, like what she's wearing, but she has a little necklace with a jar in it with water from the Feywild, because she grew up near the ocean most of her life. And so she just plops on her bed and then just takes the necklace and just looks at it, and it reminds her of the Feywild.
Oh, how nice. Sort of looking at it, sloshing around, and then resting. Oh, that's great. Okay. You're all a bit tired. I mean, from everything you went through in the Feywild, from the journey, the interplanar travel takes a fair bit out of you. It's nighttime here. There's a little bit of jet lag, but it's pretty late at night. Do you all want to rest, or does anyone have anything they want to do?
Even though Kayla would like to go look at the library, she is really, really tired, so she's just going to find whatever room is left and take it and, probably immediately almost go to bed, clutching her bag with the Warforged heart in it.
Okay, nice.
I'll stay up half the night reading, and then I think I'll just end up falling asleep on the floor.
Oh, okay. Neat. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Felix, or anyone else if they had things.
Felix remembers that he wants to go and tip the servants, basically.
Okay.
A silver piece each. Thanks for all your help.
Neat. The staring woman is, oh, thank you so much. Oh, I really appreciate it. Leans in a little further with each thing she says. Crystals, just kind of gives you like a once up and down look. Like, yes, this is an alright guy. Like, thank you very much. And sort of snatches it out of your hand as you offer it. Thanks.
I ship it.
Awesome. And then Joffrey sort of, thank you. Again, keeps his head hung low. Thank you, sir. It's appreciated. and
You got it.
shuffles off. Neat. All right.
Mallos
Oh.
bathroom for him before bed.
Okay, neat. You get it filled up with a bunch of nice bath salts and toasty hot water. Just they spend like 10 minutes where you're like, too cold and too warm, back and forth, just trying to get it right for you. Where it's just right. And you get a good soak in before bedtime. And Em, in your book, the history of the Tildari, you find a couple, you get through maybe the first chapter or so by now with all the reading you've done. And you find a number of important notes. They talk a little bit about the history, the advancement of magic, and the civilization is a very just advanced civilization as a whole. The lands that are referred to in the book of the homeland and such, you don't recognize any of them. The landmarks, the names of the kingdoms, the continents, none of it. You do find some interesting parts about when a Tildari comes of age, around 100 or so, much like elves. They do go through a rite, and that part of that, they don't go into detail on the rite itself. Yet. It just sort of skims over it and talks about that's around the time frame that they normally go through it. Children go through that. They talk about Tildari and wood elves in particular live in harmony. There's a lot, wherever the Tildari are from, there are a lot of wood elves as well. And the two different races and histories and cultures really complemented one another as the civilization grew. And that's sort of what you get from the first chapter so far.
Okay.
All right. And, I think, gosh, what did I make grab? It's, I don't know. I'm drawing a complete blank. Thank you, Kevin. And that's where we'll take our bio break. Yay, because it's bio break time. So for those that don't know, we take a bio break, 5 to 8 minutes. We'll keep streaming. We'll have some pop-up stuff here to keep you entertained. And then we will be back really soon. So we'll catch you in a few minutes. Okay, we're back. Okay, go right ahead, Mariah, if you like.
Huh?
Oh, if you were going to show your shirt.
Well, my shirt at first night is like
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
got it at ThinkGeek. Fun fact, I don't know if anybody knows this, but ThinkGeek and GameStop GameStop owns ThinkGeek, and like if you're an employee with GameStop, you can get discounts at the ThinkGeek stores because ThinkGeek started putting stores in locations. We have 2 in Oklahoma, which is pretty cool, and vice versa. ThinkGeeks get discounts with the GameStop, so a little tip fact. And this is where the shirt came from.
Did I lose
I
Sam?
finished.
Sorry, I just realized I lost Sam.
Or she. Oh, and also, if you guys see my stickers, they came from
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
check that out. Nice.
these. Yes, they have retail, not just the store website anymore. They have actual stores.
Mm-hmm.
Dan,
Okay, yeah.
you're calling Sam again?
Yes, yep. Gonna give it another shot.
Pink was
See if
there
it
on
wants to
the 5th,
connect.
and that was a lot of fun too. If I travel towards Oklahoma City or Tulsa, I'm gonna have to sometime. Oh, hi Sam.
So the video quality's a bit better, Sam. I'm gonna wait and see if I can hear you though. Oh, and it's there's echo.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of feedback.
Because why would you want to hear us? Yeah. No. Why would you want to hear us? Yeah.
I'm surprised that LA has not had one.
I don't know if you want to, Sam, but if you wanted
I'm
to
surprised.
do it through the laptop or whatever you had, and maybe just do voice, so that it has the bandwidth out. Oh, I lost her anyway. If someone wouldn't mind proposing that to her.
Or if Dan, you can tell Sam to. No, never mind. Bad idea. That won't work.
Oh.
I was gonna say for her to go to Discord and use it, but we can't hear her. Never mind.
Yeah. Can you say something, Sam? It looks like you're still here. Recovered it. Yeah, but it's doing an echo though.
Tech issues. Dan, roll a check.
I guess if someone wouldn't mind in Facebook chat, just seeing if Sam's okay with going back to the previous setup and just doing audio. That way we won't have that echo. If someone's in Facebook and doesn't mind, no problem if not. Okay. In the meantime, I'm going to jump back in here. Currently, everyone is in their own rooms. Now, Mallos, did you say, what did you say about your room? You're getting the one furthest away from everybody else?
Furthest away from where the portal is.
Ah, okay. Okay. All right. Let's see. So, everyone is sleeping. Let me get my dice out here. Wow. Emil, if you would roll a perception check, please.
No problem.
Yes, thank you very much, chat. Thanks, Ed, for putting that in there, too. All right, oops, sorry. I've got to move my screen so I can see what you rolled. Ooh, 15? Okay, ooh. I'm going to let you roll again. It'd technically be with advantage because of the setup you have in your closet room. Okay, that's not as good. Oh, thank you for the fall. Dice and dishes. Felix, you know what? Let me do one other thing because they would actually... Oh, come on. Okay, there we go. That's more reasonable. That was going to be 6 rolls, all higher than your 15, but one of them finally didn't. That's good. In the middle of your sleep, middle of the night here, probably 4:30 in the morning or so, while you don't hear your door swing open, some of the furniture you've moved around, you hear it's awkwardly placed, and it sets off a sound that wakes you up. You hear 3 unfamiliar voices talking, some short footfalls, like they're scanning around the room quickly, and then you hear them walk out of the room and shut the door behind them. But they've got a hustle in their feet. And let me just see what they do. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's terrible. You hear the door to the room next to you get knocked open. And some footfalls. Now you know the room next to you is empty. And you hear almost a similar situation where for 15-20 seconds some shuffling feet and then door shut. You hear the footfalls heading further away before you don't hear anything.
They're headed towards Emercina's room or away?
Towards Emercina's room currently.
Sorry, just waiting for a second here.
Mm-hmm. Facebook is logging in. You know what I need to do? Let me I want to promote the Discord while you're doing that. I'm just gonna put in chat, our friendly, lovely chat folks. We have a wonderful Discord that some of our players here set up and modded out, and everything looks really nice and snappy. Nightbot's just giving you all the information, it looks like, with our Facebook and YouTube. Feel free to swing by the Mad Bird YouTube page and like, subscribe, share all that stuff. We put episodes of this up there and blah blah blah. But sorry, Emil, if you're if you need more time, go right ahead though.
Nope.
Okay.
No. So I'm assuming the hallway doesn't have much in the way of places to hide. Probably reasonably well lit, no alcoves.
Correct. There's some hallways every few rooms, 6 or 7 rooms. There's a hallway that runs down for some more rooms deeper towards the outer part of the spire. There are a number of tall plants, though. There are places where you could technically hide, and you did notice that I don't know, you don't see the same bright light coming in underneath the door. If you're looking at your door to your room, it doesn't seem as bright in the hallway currently as it did beforehand. They may dim the lights in this time of night.
Okay, I'm gonna try to open my door quietly and peek out. Like, understanding I have the timing of when they're in. You know, I can kind of hear them, so I don't want to be seen by them, and I'm gonna cast my mage hand.
Ooh, okay. Nice.
So my goal is going to be when they're in either the room beside me, like one of the rooms on the way to Emercina's, to use the mage hand to knock on Emercina's door.
Okay. And I think the range on the Ledgermain's one is pretty good. I think it's double the normal one, right? It's like 60 or feet or something.
If it's double, it would be 60. And I think you're right, it's double, but I don't have the book in front of me.
It's fine. Either way, it's plenty of room to get down to do what you're looking to do. So you wait for the timing, and you hear 2 doors down. You hear, as you peek out, you keep an ear out, you hear the door get knocked in, and you use that opportunity to have your mage hand float up above the doorway out of sight and just Em, go ahead and make like a perception check to see if that's waking you up or if you hear it.
I'm just like,
Yes, you. I drank at the wrong time. That was pretty funny. Oh yeah, you hear that.
what? Hello? I kind of scoop up my weapons and stuff, and because I had laid them out on the bed, and open up the door real quietly. Like,
You
The
open
mage hand is invisible, right? So
Yeah. Oh, right. Yours is, I forget. It's so cool. You don't see anything, but you hear with that perception check, especially being in the hallway, you see the door next to you. You know no one's in there, but you hear rummaging. You hear footfalls and some furniture rummaging, and you see the door knocked open.
I'm gonna take out one of my daggers. Peek
Alright.
out in the hallway.
I'm assuming I had to be able to kind of see the door if ever seen us to knock on it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I'll lean up just far enough to go and point at kind of the open door, and then I'm gonna peel back like I'm hiding. It's about as much communication as I can get. So
Yeah.
Nod my head. And you said there's closets in the rooms, right?
Oh, yeah. Walk-in closet. Yep.
So I'm gonna close the door real quietly, and I'm
Mhm.
gonna go back into my walk-in closet, and I'm gonna close the door, and I'm just gonna stand there and just watch, and be on alert.
Okay. Let's see.
I think if I try to go back into the hallway, I'm not gonna be as stealthy.
So M, make a stealth check, please. Kaylin, Felix, and Brixie, you would be. Go ahead and make perception checks. And Mallos, you're chill. You're chill on the other side, yeah. And
You said perception?
perception, please. Yeah, let me check on Sam here before I forget. I don't want to.
Woo! I don't hear anything.
You're sound asleep.
It's not your night.
Two natural ones, and I passed it on.
Well, don't
to
feel bad, because Felix can't hear anything either. He's just stone cold, like, out.
Oh gosh, yeah, what did we get? Oh no, guys! Oh no!
Yeah, I remember that since I have exhaustion, I actually roll disadvantage.
You're right. Yeah, you wouldn't have gotten your second full night. That's 1 point anyway, so you're half speed still. Oh,
Was he a bear?
Oh wait! Oh wait, no, never mind. I thought I was still a cat. I would have gotten the. No. No, never mind.
All right, so gosh, Kaylin, you're in a room. Across the hall, you're down 2 rooms from the room you're diagonally across from Emersina.
Mm-hmm.
1 room further down across the hall, and you hear 17. You hear rummaging across the hallway. You heard the door sort of get knocked in, and some rummaging around there. And you, what do you want to do? That wakes you up.
I would go and check. So I went to kind of sneak up to the door and see if maybe listen through the door and see if I could hear anything else besides rummaging.
Okay. The door is slightly ajar. It's open maybe a foot and a half or so.
Okay, I'm gonna try and just stay or maybe I'd probably, even if it's ajar, I'd probably kind of, without opening the door anymore, like look outside to see if I could see anything in the hallway.
Oh, you're looking through your door from your bedroom? Or are you looking?
Yeah.
Are you in the hallway looking into the room they
No,
busted into?
I was still in my room.
Oh, okay. All right, then you take a look out. Just as you see Emil a couple doors down, sort of gesturing to, Emersina and ducking back, and you see Emersina do the same thing. They don't notice you. It's just the tail end of their exchange that you see. still hearing someone rummaging in the room somewhat in between Emersina and Emil.
So Emerson and Emil are how far away from me?
Emersina is just diagonally across from you. She's right next to the room that's being rummaged. And then, like, 2 or 3 rooms down is where Emil is. They're both on the opposite side of the hall.
But they're peeking out into the hallway or standing in the hallway?
You caught them at the end of their exchange where Emil was, like, and ducked back into his room, and you saw Em sort of sheathe or have her dagger on the ready and step back into hers.
Okay. And I still hear the rustling?
You do. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd probably maybe open the door a little bit farther and maybe look in the direction that I hear the rustling to see if I can see anything.
In the room across the hall, just down past Emersina's, you see that's the door that's slightly ajar. That's one that's open like 1.5 feet, and you hear some furniture bumping around in there. Some footfalls.
And Emersina and they're back in the room already.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would probably go and check it out.
Okay. We'll make a stealth check then as you're stepping out into the hallway.
So if it was
Yeah, I'd like to know if I notice this.
Why do I have an arm? Oh, because I have
because you're wearing armor.
Nice.
That's up to you, Emil. If you think that you would still, I mean, that's totally reasonable. If you're still like, you're in the doorway, but you're looking to, to see what's going on. I'd say that before she sneaks out, you'd probably see her clearly looking out of her door to try and get a better view.
All right, I'm going to try something. We'll see how this goes. I am going to cast Minor Illusion, and from the area of the door across from me, I am going to have said in Mallos' voice, "What's going on out there? Is that you, the servants?" And we'll see if there's a reaction.
Okay.
Caitlin kind of stops in her tracks and just kind of like, where's that voice? And just kind of maybe like steps back against the wall, like to listen and see if anything answers back.
3 heavily armored figures barge out of the room across the hall from you, Kaylin, next to you, Emil, a couple rooms down, and look around. They don't see the man who spoke, but off to the side they see Kaylin. Kaylin, I don't know if you'd have your armor either, because you would have been woken up from sleeping.
Oh. Well,
hold on. If she didn't have her armor, then she rolled really high on stealth.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Penalty.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have had it. So you actually rolled an 18. So they don't see you. Woo!
Great.
You ducked back into your... Yeah.
Okay, I ducked back into the room, or I ducked behind the door.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's some tall plants, too. Potted plants in there that are almost shrub-like. And you're like...
Yes.
Tucked carefully in between.
What is it with us and plants?
And Kaylin and shrubs, yeah.
Turns out there's a body underneath the bushes.
You see, but you see through the branches, Kaylin, as you're watching, and Emil, you can see carefully from your hidden position. These 3 heavily armored figures, hands on the hilt of their swords, ready to draw, looking around. They all have this splotchy painted red symbol on the front. It's splotchy in an artistic way, not in the way a child would splash paint, but actually in sort of an artistic way. And it's basically... it's a circle with a number of different shaped swords. There's 5 different shaped swords that all pierce the circle and sort of meet points in the center. And they have a little bit of a waviness to them with the splotchy type paint, all crimson red on really bright, metal armor with white tabards that emblem is on the front of. They kind of look around.
Familiar to me in any way?
No.
No. Okay. Well, I've got minor illusion, like the duration is a minute, so I can do some more playing with Mallos' voice. Are they just looking around in confusion? They didn't actively like race towards Mallos' voice or race away from it.
They did. They burst out to see what it was, and then they're sort of looking around like they don't see it. They're still in that state of confusion.
Okay. I mean, I'm trying to read minor illusion to figure out whether or not the sound's going to come from me or it's going to come from a place within 30 feet. I think it's a place within 30 feet.
I think so. Yeah.
So I want it to come from like I said, the room across me, more or less. But were we instructed how to call the servants if we needed them?
There's bell things. In the hallway and in each room, there's a little bing, 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 and it rings a bell on a lower level.
Okay,
So-
I mean,
Oh,
I
go
think
ahead.
with minor illusion, I can have Mallos' voice say, "Servants, there's been somebody in my room," and then make that bing, bing, bing sound,
Sure.
and maybe even run over and pull my own bell and just see if I can sow some chaos here.
Okay. Let me do a quick check.
I'll make sure Mallos' voice is super haughty because I want it to be realistic.
Nice. Someone's been in my room, you hear from so servants. Really sharp, condescending.
Nicely done, Dan. Dan, you get a bonus inspiration die. That was well done.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Warren, you're good. I just looked at the spell.
Oh, neat. I would say that, let's see, Brixie and Felix, you definitely hear Mallos in your side, just in a room nearby for some reason. And you hear him barking, yelling at someone. First saying, "Who's in there?" And then, having the comment about the servants, and you hear one of the service bells chiming.
You must be confused again. Oh my gosh.
He's just drunk. Everybody goes back to sleep.
Nice.
I raise up and look around and then just go back to sleep.
So where are the guards now again, Dan? I'm sorry.
Well, these three armored figures are standing in the hallway. As you look out,
Okay.
I'm sorry, you're behind the bush. I forgot you're tucked in. You're looking through the branches. They're only about 25 feet away from you in the hallway, but sort of focused on the next door down from you, so they're not really looking your direction.
I'm just gonna stay there.
Quiet breaths.
Yeah. Really quiet breaths. I don't make any moves because and I'm not wearing armor, so yeah, I'm just trying to, I'm just blending in.
You're in your nighttime attire with your short swords.
Yeah.
Okay, ready? Which I would die to see fan art of because that would be the best. Like I can picture Kaylin. Okay, and Brixie, after hearing that, do you react at all, or do you, after hearing Mallos yell and ring a bell a couple doors down, do you just continue to?
Just for being a cat, like being a cat first.
Well, sorry, what's that?
I think Sam is back.
Oh, okay.
I heard myself, so I stopped. But
Gotcha.
What was I saying? Oh, and just hearing the bell, that's the point when I get up, and then I go to the door and peek out. Peek out. Let's peek out.
See what's
Peek
going on.
out the door and see what's going on.
You
Now, Dan,
okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
With wild shape, does it have, like, how many times? Does it have a limit on
It
what
does. There's.
What?
Let me pull up my player's handbook. There is a circle that you can take that, or level 20 or something, you have unlimited. But let me take a peek at the standard.
Well, nothing in Circle of the Dream says anything. Unless if it does.
All right, you can use this feature twice. You regain expended uses when you
Okay.
finish a short or long rest.
Okay. Would you consider it to be... No, it's the short rest? Since we've been woken
You've
up,
had enough
or-
time to recharge those two wild shapes, absolutely.
Okay.
Sam wants to know if she's in the area. She should be.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sam. Yeah, absolutely. Sam, you also definitely heard. I mean, it's hard not to be awoken by the timbre of Mallos's voice when he's barking like that. It's still so new and like. So yeah, Ormia, you're down the hall a little bit, but I definitely think that with Mallos, shouting, you would have heard that.
Does Mallos hear himself?
You're so far on the other side, not currently. Mallos, make a perception check. We'll see. Just so I have that in mind.
Oh.
Aw.
So I think my big question is the guards or the three men. Like, are they reacting to any of this or not?
Yeah.
I don't
You
think
know, if they charge Caleb, that's bad. If they come investigate him across from me, that's potentially bad.
Cuddles.
Aw. I didn't know you were a dad, Dan.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I missed that last 40 seconds.
It's okay. We were just speculating what the men are doing in response to all of this.
Right, yeah, they're what would they do? Let's see, their objective, and if they're hearing this happen, they're gonna start kicking down doors faster. They're gonna head in the direction that they heard Mallos's voice. So that room across from Emil, they're gonna hustle, kick that door in, and head into the room. And
Is there? Are they all in the room now? I mean, are they going into the room?
yeah, all three are
Can-
bustling in.
Once they're inside, can I slip, since I'm right there by my door, can I slip back into my room to get my armor?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, that's what I want to do. I want to slip back into my room as quietly as I can, put my armor on, and also make sure I have my quiet boots on as well. And I'm also going to put my pack on because I don't want them to steal anything out of my bag.
And by anything, you mean one thing in particular.
That's
I have to make sure all my
fantastic.
bases are covered. I get everything as quietly as I can, and I think I would probably say she still wouldn't. I still don't want to attack them head on by myself, because I don't know what everyone else is doing. So I'm just going to just kind of stand by my door, but still hid, and just try and listen to see like what they do, like if they're still in the room or what have you. So.
Okay, I've got my rapier out. Minor illusion should still be. I assume we're still within the first minute of
Oh yeah.
my malice.
Mhm.
So I think them having burst into the door where I made Malice's voice come from, I'm a little worried that they're actually after him, but I don't really know for sure. So I'm just going to use minor illusion to make the sound of a woman screaming from that room, and I'm going to make it as loud as minor illusion can go, which I think is just kind of a human scream level.
Mm-hmm.
And just, I'm sure, working the streets of Ren when I was young, I heard a few women screaming in my time. So I'll just draw on a memory and give a good blood-curdling woman's scream from the empty room.
Perfect.
And hopefully everything goes nuts.
Nice. Yeah, it's shrill, it's loud. Oh, go ahead, Brixie. What you got?
At this point, this is up to you, but I looked up one for challenge animals, and can I turn myself to... Okay, first off, have I ever seen a blink dog?
Roll a history check to see, because that is sort of a rare. I'll say if you get higher. Let me just check and see what it is in the. What's the CR rating for the blink dog?
It's 1/4, which is a max. My max for second level is
half, right? That's higher. I mean, you're fourth.
Oh, I'm fourth.
Fourth level.
I'm doing it.
If you roll higher than a 13 on your history check, I'll say you've seen a blink dog.
Nope, never mind. Okay. You said that right before I rolled. Thanks for doing it. Okay, hang on. I want the monster manual really bad. This will help so much. Would I seen a giant badger? Or just a badger in general?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Definitely regular badger for sure.
Dan, call Sam, please.
Oh, thanks.
And she said she grabbed her big gun.
Ooh.
Can I turn into a giant badger?
A giant badger, I'd say same thing. Roll a history check, and if you get higher than 13, you'll have seen a giant one. Because the giant creatures are kind of rare, too. Although you are from the Fae, so...
Well...
There you go. Yep. You start shifting down into a... You start shifting down into a giant badger. Shifting form with your door slightly ajar so you can comfortably step out. And meanwhile, you hear this terrible shriek. It's shrill, it's ear-piercing, it's brutal. Mallos, you've heard just a couple of footfalls, one after another, running past your door before you hear maybe 12, 15 seconds later as you're sort of waking up from the what's going on? Then you hear the shriek in the distance in the far side of this floor. So what do you want to do, Mallos, while Brixie, you're shape-shifting into the giant...
Go
ahead, Mallos.
Do I have a bell in my room?
You do, yep.
Ring, ring.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding. What is all the commotion?
You wait patiently, but you don't seem to get a response.
Go towards the door, and I open the door and just kind of peek my head out in both directions.
The hallway is it's rounded and it's pretty far, and you catch just the tail end, the literal tail end of like an ashy gray tiefling tail running around the corner away from you.
And I go back to bed.
Okay. You nestle back in, fluff your pillow, and get nice and cozy. And head back to sleep for now. All right, let's see. Brixie, you probably have to step out into the hallway. Ooh, giant is, I better check the measurements on that. You basically fill up the hallway as you shift into this giant badger. Width-wise, you're almost with you. If you start walking down the hallway, you're going to knock over some of the plants. You're about, a good 2/3 of the height of the hallway here.
Okay.
The 3 armored folks leap out of the room after hearing the shriek. and kind of look in both directions down the hallway. Let's see, who's seeing this? So, Kaylin, you're in your room getting your stuff set. And Felix, you thought you were delusional still, right? So mainly
yeah.
it's Emil watching. Em, you're ready inside in your closet, just ready for... Although you did hear the shriek, Em. Is there anything you want to do differently?
I think by the time I hear the shriek, I get out of my closet and I start opening my door.
Okay.
To try to figure out where it came from.
Okay. Heart pounding a bit as you worry for your friends. And Mallos. Maybe. Was that him?
Oh, I don't care about him. He's okay.
Just kidding.
Scream like a girl.
Yeah.
Kevin, why are you? Why?
So
Now that's
Em,
gonna be in my head.
nice. Em and Emil, you're looking out in the hallway. Brixie, you're coming sort of around the corner in this giant badger form. As the three armored people look down at you, Brixie.
Oh no!
Coming down the hallway. Emil and Em, you see the three armored individuals stopped looking at this giant creature. Then you see two familiar faces run up. Joffrey and... sorry, let me pull up this and see if... I gotta make sure it's getting... Oh, it did it. Okay, good. Right, so you see Joffrey, you see Sarah, and they're running up, yelling now. They see these people here. You can't be here! What are you doing? Who are you? And Sarah has a really, pissed off look in her face, and Joffrey usually has his head down, is addressing one of them right up in their face. And out of nowhere, Crystal just shoulder checks the third one, poof, and knocks him down, and sort of is trying to wrestle him on the ground, holding him in a neck hold, a headlock. And they start arguing. What are you doing here? You can't be here. You have no right to be here. Identify yourselves. And Sarah's, staring him right in the face. And let me just pull to this.
I think Sarah just wins the fight just by intimidating. She's just like, they're like, oh, we need to stay away from Sarah.
Nice. I need to do a quick grapple check. Okay. The third armored guy gets out, finally breaks... Well, he doesn't break free of Crystal's hold, but he rolls over and stands up. She's still on his back. Trying to hold him around the neck. He just was able to break the grapple, so he stands up with her still trying to choke him out. And one of them seems to take lead and says... says what? Where are my notes?
Wow, that's a strange thing from the
Yeah, where are my notes? He pads his pockets. Like, there's...
Something to this.
We are the Knights of Unity, and we are here because there were several unsanctioned uses of the teleportation circle, and we are here because of the unauthorized use of magic, and we will see those under suspect, and we will return them to the church for questioning. And that's what I'll pause there in case you guys react to any of that.
Sam has left a room and has gone out into the hall.
Okay.
Since I'm kind of close, can I do my two multi-attacks on one of the guards?
You can. Now they don't have their weapons drawn at this point. They have their hands on the hilts, and the one closest to you has Crystal on his back.
Anyone hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
A little robot-y, but we can hear you.
Yay! So you can if you like, but you would have to because Crystal, the tiefling, is on the back trying to choke one out. The other two are on the opposite side. That one's
it's
sort of
the
in your way.
Oh, okay. I thought it was one of the guards had one of their servants. Never mind. I'll just.
Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Sam. I think I can. It's a little choppy, but can you hear us? May not be able to hear us. All right, Brixley. So you run up. This really intimidating presence. This giant badger filling up the entire hallway.
And then as I stop when I get close and just
Nice.
stare everybody down.
Okay. You sort of bare your fangs and let out a whatever sort of growl badgers make. I don't know. And does anyone else jump in or do anything, or do you just let it play out?
I think right now I am by my door. Like I already have my armor and stuff on. But I don't think I want to step out quite yet. I just kind of want to. You said the servants have the advantage on the guards, right? On the people.
They're 3-3, but these armored folks seem to have backed off. It's more about like, we have a right to be here. No, you don't right now. Versus like a battle.
Yeah, I think Caitlin would probably stay hidden behind. Yeah, listening to what's going on, but staying like behind her door.
So Sam's in the hallway. She wants to know if she recognizes the symbol.
You don't, Sam. You know what, Sam? You're from Epheron, so you go ahead and roll a history check. It's unlikely, but because you're from the continent, you can't. Just roll your d20, and add. Let me see what your modifier is here, so you know what to add. Well, you've got your character sheet probably, so you probably don't even need that. Looks like a +3 for history.
And if you can't say it, go ahead and type it in Facebook chat, and we'll pass it on.
And in the meantime, I think the commotion would have wakened Felix up.
Okay. Yeah, you're pretty confident now, Felix, that this is... The bells are ringing. There's a number of them now. After the scream and everything, I would say... hearing the tackle, too, you would have time to get up and go to the door if you wanted to.
I'm going to stand in my doorway, but I'm going to keep an eye on Crystal.
Okay. You see the guard sort of has, his arm inside the lock, trying to keep her from choking him out. But still, I should probably do another roll for that. We'll see how they're doing. Okay. He manages to finally break free and wrestle her off his shoulder. But she's still squaring off against him, giving him, like, the dagger eyes. Is there anything you want to do, Felix?
I'll probably go up to the door and open up and peer into the hallway to see what's going on.
Okay.
And I'm assuming I see the scrum.
Yeah, you see them squaring off, and you get a quick feel for what's going on. You hear them say they're the Knights of Unity, and unauthorized use of magic, unsanctioned use of the teleportation circle, and they need to bring in the suspects to be questioned by the church. And the servants are saying, you have no right to be here, and absolutely not. Let me do a quick roll. Okay.
21 is Sam's roll.
So Sam, you would have heard rumblings of the Knights of Unity. Because it's not a very old order. 21's a high roll, though. So you would have heard rumblings about some of the inner conflicts in this kingdom of Kite and Kai, having being a noble and having your finger, thumb on the pulse there, finger on the pulse of all things political. So let me give a recap, I guess. Ormia, you would be familiar with, obviously, and most of this for Mallos too. You're asleep, but I mean, this is stuff you'd know. Kite and Kai was a very ambitious kingdom. Some 350 years ago, it was actually a small kingdom on the northern continent, and it went around conquering all the surrounding kingdoms. There was a war that lasted a considerable while. It was probably closer to 500 years ago they started the war. It lasted about 150 years of them just conquering kingdom after kingdom after kingdom until they got to the natural border between what's now Kite and Kai, the entire top chunk of this continent, and this big strip of land just below it, almost equal in size, that is known as the Eurusian Empire. There's this mountain range in between that made it very difficult to move troops through and equipment and all that, goods and whatnot. So a truce was called. Finally, that put a stop to the expansion of the Kite and Kai kingdom. Previously, Kite and Kai was built on the backs of the people. People were exploited. The wealthy. There were a lot of high elf nobility in Kite and Kai, all magic users. They were very, again, magic centric, much like it is today. That's how this city in particular, and the whole kingdom came to be so magic centric. Slavery was a large piece of the economy and the labor force back then. The truce between the two kingdoms, though, became tentative around 150 years ago. A number of different political strategies were employed by the high-ranking members of the political parties of Kite and Kai, and they were trying to undermine the Eurusian Empire that's right below them. As well as a number of small skirmishes that started in those mountain cities and the borders. An all-out war broke out about 70 years ago and lasted for a good 20 years. A lot of losses on both sides. Kite and Kai had a lot of magical power, but the Eurusian Empire had really well-trained army. A new generation came about around 50 years ago, ending the war. They made peace. And a large part of their reform was abolishing slavery, granting former slaves land and equal rights and paying them reparations, rebuilding the kingdom in a fairer, more equal way to all, supporting those that are the driving force of the economy. Out of that came the Knights of Unity. It was a number of churches, 5 different, deities that were worshipped. 5 different realms of church worshippers came together to support the people after the war and help society as a whole, from especially those that really needed it. This order, though, is sort of a militant order that is part of the church. And you've heard those rumblings of that, like it started out as something really good, and in recent times, past 15, 20 years, has become this really militant arm of the church. And the church has been vying for political power and clashing with that nobility, that the magic-centric nobility that's in line, the newer generation that brought about peace, and that there's some unrest with the people, because the people are the ones sort of caught in the middle paying the price for this. And sorry that's a lot, but you rolled a 21, and so that's probably what you'd catch. Mallos, you may not know about... go ahead and roll a history check if you would, Mallos, just to see what you're aware of if you know about the knight specifically. You know all the backstory about the kingdom.
I don't know shit.
Would we? Oh no! Would we get?
Dan, with my sage background, can I?
Yeah, yeah, because
okay.
you study everything with that. So go for it. Nope. Yeah. So much Warforged studying lately. Everything.
I know. My mind's just shot to hell.
Okay. So, Ormy, you stepped out in the hallway. You don't recognize the symbol, but you heard them say this, so you can you put it together now. There are 5 different churches that went into, that came together for this, and there are 5 swords in the symbol, and you kind of put 2 and 2 together there. Let me do a quick roll here as you're all... Oh, yeah. Okay. As you, as this argument is building, oops, where's my, you hear a very determined set of footsteps coming around the corner of the hallway. Louder, doom, 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 doom. At full, like, it's intense power walk speed. And around the corner comes Raybrick Crudell, that was essentially the host that met you when you first arrived here. Tall, again, 6 feet tall, hair still up, that coal black hair still up in the man bun, same robes and everything he had on a little bit earlier. And he comes right up to these 3 armored individuals and says, "Get out now!" And anyone proficient in Arcana feels a surge of magical power from around Raybrick.
Oh.
So just Galen.
Sam said that she thinks she might want a conversation with the guards. Or, yeah, the knights.
Okay. There, all right, let me, just going to be a roll or two. Let me see how this plays out, because they're sort of, with Raybrick here, they might have their attention pulled to that. Let me just have Raybrick do a roll. Okay, yeah, they rolls 3 and 1 and 5. Okay. They seem to be caught off guard by this.
Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not proficient in Arcana, can I certainly try to make an Arcana check? Or not?
Yeah, you can make an Arcana check if you want, just to see if you feel that.
Okay, I gotta pull up the stats for the Badger. Because I'm still the Badger.
Is intelligence, right? So that would be your character stats, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm the Badger. I take the...
Yeah, whatever the Badger's intelligence modifier would be, because you wouldn't get any proficiency. It would just be their modifier.
This is gonna be fun. 0!
Ooh, yeah.
0.
Oh, really brutal.
2.
So you you see him really upset. You can still read his body language and his voice, and he's really not having this. You will leave my guests alone. You will leave my establishment. I will not tolerate you here for another single moment. I do not know how you got in. I will find out. You will pay if you do not leave immediately. And they seem to be a little nervous. They rolled really terribly against this intimidation check. But they have a job to do, and they're dedicated. So the one that's sort of been arguing the most with the servants, that's where we are the Knights of Unity, and we have every right to be here. You will not stand in the way of the church. And Raybrick closes the 7-foot gap in an instant with like 2 quick steps. Puts his hand on this guy's shoulder. Okay. Guy disappears. He lowers his arm as the guy disappears, almost like he's just swiping through him as the guy disappears. Looks at the other two. We'll leave. One way or another. But this is the last time you'll have a chance to decide. Let me just do a fresh check on these guys. Oh, yeah. They kind of look at each other like... They don't say anything, but they start to hustle past back towards the elevator section. Raybrick looks at the servants, tells them to follow them, see that they find their way out. And then sort of does a swivel to those of you that are nearby. I'm so sorry about that. Changes faces. My deepest apologies. I have no idea how that happened. I will get to the bottom of it. It will not happen again. I will personally watch over this floor. Please accept all expense paid vouchers for an entire month of a free stay here on any floor between in the low 200s anytime. It's good forever as long as our establishment is here. Please, is there anything else I can do to try and return some peace to this evening?
How are they getting into our rooms?
He kind of looks... He's angry. And he's not really sure, because really, it's only staff that should have the ability to do that. And let me just roll and see what he's willing to say. Okay. I will get to the bottom of that. They should have no access whatsoever. Only staff should be able to enter, and I will root out who gave them that access, and this will not happen again. I will personally oversee this floor. Only you and I will have access to the rooms, and I am thoroughly embarrassed, and I want to do whatever I can to make it up to you, truly. I know this is unacceptable. I wish I knew what happened. I will make sure I find out and make sure it does not happen again.
Is there a problem with using magic in this city?
This city has a very long history of magic users. Used wisely. It's the very backbone of our nation. But in recent times, there's this particular order, and the churches that back it feel that magic isn't safe and needs to be closely monitored and only wielded by those the church sees fit to handle the church, handle magic. They push their boundaries, and as of late have pushed well beyond their rightful place. Coming in here is an affront that will be addressed in the High Court. This cannot and will not be allowed.
Who's they?
As this conversation goes on, I shape back into my normal self. And then,
Okay.
Can I certainly try to make an investigation check to see where they came from? Being the curious person I am.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wants to know.
And what was your question, Em? Who is they?
Yeah.
No, I don't know anything.
Oh no, Brixie. Yeah, you're not sure. They went back towards the elevator. You think maybe they got in somewhere, through the elevator somehow.
I still look.
So M, he answers, they are, it's the church. The church and the state have been at odds lately. While the kingdom has been healed, in great part thanks to the church and the state working in unison, their ideals and political views have shifted. Very polarizing, very, very different views on how the country should be run. Both have a significant amount of power, political power, and they are overstepping their bounds once again. This is too much. They have no right to come in here. You were already processed and allowed entry by the state, by the guards of the state. And for them to come in here and demand to bring you back to the church for questioning, unheard of. Unheard of. Sort of fuming to himself. But please, is there anything I can do tonight or over the course of your stay here to make this right, to make this better?
I'll leave that up to Mallos' purview.
Good.
I just kind of mutter, I don't think you want to be a part of this. And I just walk back into my room and sit down on the bed and just read the rest of the night.
Okay. He says, please, I will remain here on the floor. I will move my things into one of the servants' quarters, and I will personally watch over this floor for the duration of your stay here. Crystal comes back, says, Sarah and Joffrey are making sure they find the rough way out. That's all taken care of. What do you want me to do, boss? And he turns to her and gives her a few instructions. Stay with them, see that they get anything they need, and are recentered for the night. And see me when you're finished. And as for the rest of you, I will be down the hall, and he gives directions to the room he's going to be in. Ring any bell if you need me, or simply come down to my room and see me, please. Thank you all so much for your patience and understanding. And again, you are safe under my watch, and I will make sure this does not happen again. Thank you so much. He gives a very deep bow to all of you. And then turns to walk towards his room. Crystal turns around. So, had yourself some fun, huh? Wow. Well, what can I do for all of you? Anything I can get you? Fluff some pillows, maybe? Get you all? Anyone want some water?
Birdseed.
At this point,
Absolutely.
Rixie turns to Crystal and just circles around and at her.
You sort of give the tiefling look back and forth at one another. She looks up because you're a bit taller. Gives you a nod.
You know what? I would love some extra pillow mitts.
High demands, guys.
Can do. Can do.
You gotta think bigger.
Nice. Yeah, Mallos is having his terrible nightmare of someone underusing a bunch of privilege. Like, no,
Lots of pillow mitts.
So she gets
Melt all the mints down and make one giant for you.
awesome. Hand stitched and pouring. Yeah. Couture. So she runs and gets those things. Birdseed, pack of birdseed, a beautiful dish, this ornate dish. It's ridiculous for birdseed, but filled up. And she knows it's ridiculous. She looks at it like, She sees your face, Emil, and she's totally on board. Like, I know that this is what we have. Sets it down and puts a bag. She just, she's not supposed to, but she just brings out the whole bag, sort of torn open on the top. Here's some more, or a sack, of bird seed. You keep it, use it, whatever you want. You need more, let me know. And brings Felix's super fluffy pillow. You know what? I'm gonna.
What time is it, Dan? Is it still nighttime?
Oh, it's like 5 a.m. now.
Oh, it's 5 a.m.?
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right.
Emil, you know what? She'd probably have to do a perception check. Oh, okay. As she gets everyone set up and returns, to your room. Is there anything else that I can get you? And as she says that, she brushes her nose and sort of fixes part of her hair, and you recognize this as Thieves' Camp. She's sending you a message about the symbol you have, the heart.
What?
And then
Me?
pulls her, rubs her shoulder, and underneath part of a sash as part of her uniform, she peels back, and you see a Harper's in.
Oh.
Under her thing. Covers it back up, basically saying, hey, just letting you know, I'd like to talk in Thieves' Camp. She says, I'd like to talk. Is this a good place and a good time?
You know what? Emil make a pretense about the people when they broke in, ran into some furniture, and maybe we should check it, make sure it's okay. Kind of come into the room, and we'll, close the door and do an inspection of what the people who broke in did, and then we can talk in there. So
okay. So she slowly closes, the door behind her, and says extra loudly, in case there is, anyone listening or anything, just as a precaution. Boy, they sure made a mess in here. I better go around and tidy everything up. And so she kind of checks things as she's, tidying things up with you, and you both sort of scan the room. And when the coast looks clear, go ahead and make an investigation check, actually, if you would.
I like it. I live for investigation checks.
Neat. Okay, nice. Yeah, the room looks clean. This house is clean. So she sits down in a chair across from you and says, "Well, I think it might behoove us both to have a little talk."
Indeed, I've just arrived from the Fae, apparently, although I don't remember the visit, and I don't really know what's going on in this city or in general.
Well, if you ever arrived at just the right time, I've got plenty to tell you. And that's where we'll end tonight's session. Boo, 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 boo. Because it's 1 o'clock already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Time flies. I really need to get packing.
Oh, no problem. Thank you so much, Mariah. I hope you have a wonderful time on your trip. Please send us pictures.
I will. Lots of pictures. Yeah. Oh, okay. So, at this point, knowing what time it is, Brixie just kind of wanders by herself without anybody knowing.
Okay.
Do I need to roll? Or...
Neat, you slip out and just sort of down the hallway. No one's really sure where you are, where you're going. And we'll touch base on what you want to be doing whilst on vacation. And then I'll keep you updated with what happens.
Cool.
How exciting. So I know we didn't have any straight up... oh, thank you, Zizmarth. That's awesome. Thank you for the cheer. You rock.
thanks.
Woohoo! We didn't end up getting into battle. They rolled really poorly against the intimidation check, and especially the second time after one of them got zapped away. So we didn't end up having battle, but we could probably expect some around the corner because that keeps things fun. We'll see what happens next session, what you guys get into, what you discover. But a ton of fun role play. You guys nailed it again, as per usual. So thank you, players.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. It was great.
Yeah, my pleasure. Sorry, Mallos. He ended up sleeping, and I know it wasn't quite engaging for everyone. Hopefully, and thank you, Sam, for calling in. I'm really sorry that you ended up missing so much, but really appreciate you calling in, even though you're out and about and away. And viewers, thank you, viewers, for coming in and being hilarious in chat. It's fantastic. I don't get to read it too much as I'd like anyway, but I love looking over. You guys are really funny. So keep that coming, and the cool. You've got some really good questions in there. Check us out on, I think, Nightbot thank you, Ed, for linking that. Check out our YouTube page. Feel free to subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. We put all of our these episodes go up there day or two after, usually 2 days after we stream them here, so you can catch older episodes and stay up to date in case you miss them on Friday nights. We stream every Friday night 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern time. So thank you. We have our amazing
Also,
oh yeah, go ahead.
Dan, I forgot to put my Twitter, not my Twitter, but my Twitch.
Yes.
For those who do not know, I have a Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/impossiblegirl11. I'm a variety streamer. I do art, I game, I do whatever. So come check me out.
Woohoo! I'm gonna add that right after our thing here, so I don't forget.
I forgot to remind you.
Yeah, I am terrible with that.
Because yeah.
Nice. Yeah, check her channel out. She does a lot. It's really cool. And we'll have that linked. You can check anyone's social out. If you do !social, it'll give you all the commands for all the different people. But amazing people. Melissa, wonderful Melissa as Emercina. Woohoo! The incredible Sir Ed as Felix. Kevin as Mallos. Mariah as Brixvis. Yeah, that was perfect. Sam as Ormia, who is here mostly in spirit and somewhat in audio. Warren as Emil, and Steph as Kaylin. And they all do amazing things, so please check out their social media stuff. They're just all creative and wonderful and hilarious and just awesome people. Much like everyone in chat. Thank you so much for being so great. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and we'll catch you all next week. Thanks, Frank. Take care, everyone. Can't wait to catch you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.